It is time for another viewer match. What I got for you today is a Platinum League Terran versus Terran. Spawning in the bottom right corner of Abyssal Reveille, playing with the red Terran pieces, we have none other than Mofp. I think I'm gonna go with Mofp. And his opponent, spawning in the top left, says, get ready for my... Okay, alright. In the top left, we have none other than Mark. Mark, was that really necessary, dude? You almost made me read that out loud. Mark is going for a really quick refinery though. Now, of course, these are indeed platinum level players. That does mean that they should have a good understanding of what this game is all about. But considering this is indeed a viewer submitted replay and the vast majority of the ones that we get are indeed some wild games, I'm assuming that this one is going to be no different in that regard either. Now, we do see a pretty quick gas geyser right here, actually, from Mofp as well. But the second one is already down for Mark. So Mark is most definitely planning to get a little bit aggressive. He barely got any workers. He's been cutting out a lot of economy here. So I guess that he is planning to get extremely aggressive really early on into the game. And he may even decide to build something on the other end of the map using the SCV that he initially sent over for scouting purposes. Mark, stop talking, dude. Stop talking. It's not worth it. Apparently, Mark's hero SCV, though, did just get a kill right there. Little bit messy. And, of course, the one thing to keep in mind is that if you're being a badass, you better, you better have the skills to back it up as well, right? And so far, Mofp is very, very far ahead when it comes to the work account. Now, we do indeed see that single barracks producing a Reaper right now. I'm a little worried, though, because what exactly is Mark the badass gonna build off of this? I mean, he only has a single barracks. He's not going to be capable of really building a whole lot out of that. I mean, sure, he's going to be capable of tacking up towards a factory very soon. There we go. He is indeed going to go ahead and plant down that factory. Mofp quickly asks, do you play like this when you play ranked all the time? I wonder what his answer is going to be, though. But regardless, at the point that this Reaper makes its way to the other end of the map, the other Reaper will already be out. And, I mean, Mark, he will be faced with quite a little bit of aggression. Mark is feeling confident, though. He's already, he's already up against a single enemy Reaper. And apparently they just actually high-fived really briefly while Mark's Reaper was indeed making its way towards the main base. Of course, very shortly, his opponent will recognize that that indeed is a very, very early one. But regardless, I mean, he should be capable of defending against this with, at the very least, minimal losses. We get another Marine just about to finish up. Marine comes out, takes one little pot shot, I think, or maybe just the attack animation, because the Reaper did end up picking up the kill right there. And with the follow-up of the factory here as well, I think that Mofp is going to have more than enough. And I actually really like this response. He's going straight into the concussive shell upgrade as well as a marauder, so of course that will work out absolutely brilliantly. Now, in the meantime, Mark has indeed been adding on some more workers, but he's still already 5 harvests behind at this point in the game, and that is something that adds up very, very, very quickly. Mofp, however, looking on the other end of the map, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Of course, this is Terran versus Terran, so usually there are quite a wide variety of builds. But to be completely honest with you, while Mark does have that quick factory out, and sure, he's going to be able to follow it up with a rather quick starport here as well, this build does not really look all too impressive just yet. Neither player going for the expansions just yet either. I would really like to see, a command center go down here and maybe just a little bit. But with the concussive shell done, apparently that is enough trigger to follow this up with a siege tank tech as well, and I'm assuming that he's going to start one up right from the get-go. There we go. Now, I would love to see a reactor on one of these barracks at the very least, maybe a tech lab on the other, just so to continue, the tech, but also the production of these units. As it is right now, it's not really looking all too amazing just yet, but as soon as the siege tank comes out, and you don't even really need to siege it up in a situation like this, you're going to simply leave it unsieged. You should be in a really good spot to take out at least the majority of this aggression. Now, another Reaper, of course, was indeed sent across. Is going to be able to poke away at a bunch of these units, but with the concussive shell down... Oh, come on! Oh, apparently that Marine was merciful after there, killing the Reaper at such low amounts of HP. Mark, however, now also rallying his own siege tank across, and he's followed that up with a Liberator. The two Reapers, apparently on the all-army hotkey right there, were meant to jump up into the main base. I guess they're going back to do exactly that here very, very shortly. The siege tank apparently did end up taking a couple of hits there, but it's going to be capable of shooting once more because it will be repaired up right here by the SCVs as well. Reapers jumping into the main base. They're going to try and do whatever damage they can. There we go. They're going to go straight after the mineral line, and at this point in time, there's actually nothing to defend against this whatsoever. With some proper micro, these things should be able to stay alive for quite a little while, and they actually deal a subliminal amount of damage. Look at that, like a sublime amount of damage, rather. Look at that. Already picking up 4 kills on the one and then 2 on the other. That is a pretty tough amount of worker kills already, and at this point, I mean, the Liberator Siege Tank aggression has indeed arrived on the other end of the map, and this is a little bit tricky. We see no starport follow-up here from Mofbe. I would have loved to see, like I said, that reactor on one of those, barracks just to continue producing more Marines. Because at this point, it gets a little bit funny. I mean, that Liberator is just barely out of range right there, although I'm pretty sure that that Siege Tank's foot is within the radius. He's just barely out of range right there, but this one won't be, and indeed, that Siege Tank will get picked off with relative ease. There we go, though. A lot of damage is indeed being dealt here by that single Siege Tank and Liberator. And I think that Mark, even though he had a big mouth earlier, he's actually cleaning up a lot of his opponent's aggression. He's following it up with right now with a command center as well. And while he ended up losing a ton of workers, in the meantime, on the other end of the map, eventually it looks like he managed to clean up the Reaper aggression here as well with one of the defensive tanks. And while he will be going up against a double command center opponent here very shortly, Mofbe will now also be capable of building up... Ooh, that's cheeky. He will now also be capable of building up that Viking. There we go. I would definitely recommend going for like one of each whenever you're in a situation like this, right? If you've already got 2 barracks, definitely consider getting a tech lab on one of them, but at the very least get a reactor just to pump out units. On one base, it's very tricky to afford a whole lot of anything when you are indeed playing with the Terran pieces. But regardless, Mofbe did indeed get himself that expansion here eventually. I think once again that leg would just barely be out. No, it's not. I swear we had a similar setup just now, where the Terran player was not quite capable of hitting away at his opponent's Siege Tank. But now that the Viking is out, and apparently the suicidal Marauder is dead as well, I think that this is all she wrote for the Siege Tank that's left over. And I think he's going to try and unsiege and get on out of there. A Raven now also making its way across. This Raven is going to immediately be in a bunch of trouble. We'll need to target fire down, though. Not target farming down on that Siege Tank. And that Siege Tank is doing huge amounts of damage. Getting 9 kills already with 2 HP remaining. A lot of those Marines preoccupied by killing the single auto turret. And actually, the Raven also does stay alive there with just 9 HP. Mark, all of a sudden, is looking to be in dominant control of this game. I mean, sure, he's taking that natural a little bit later, right? Sure, he doesn't have a lot of workers in the main base. Apparently, you know, he's wishing his opponents a meal for his breakfast, but, like, I'm starting to wonder here what would have happened if those Marines were not auto-targeting down that auto turret, but instead would have gone after that Siege Tank. That would have been a huge pickup. Medevacs should be produced here as well very shortly, hopefully. That way, he's going to be capable of dropping 1 Marine right on top of that Siege Tank, and that would be enough of it. Now, of course, this Raven is still going to be shut down here as well by the Viking. But look at that. That Viking still dealing so much damage, though. And Mark really, like, setting up a nice contain here. This is starting to be a little bit tricky. I'm starting to get worried here for Mofbe because he will be running out of resources in his main in just a couple of minutes. Mules, of course, harvest these mineral lines very, very rapidly, and all of these are starting to run extremely skinny already. Mark, however, has got himself that second base, so he will be able to start mining here from his, natural very nicely. And I think that if he can set up a contain like this, right, what exactly is Mofbe going to do to try and break out of this? He will need his Stimpack upgrade. He will need more units, really, to try and deal with this. And while he will shut down the auto turret placement for now, I think that Mark, like, the longer this game goes on, right, he will just be able to overpower his opponent with sheer amount of stuff. Now, he's adding on a 3rd command center as well. He's not really mining off of too much production just yet either, but Mofbe, I think he's a little confused about what exactly is going on. He's also established another command center here, but these Marines, I mean, they are just simply walking into their deaths. And I mean, while Mofbe does end up killing one of them right there, I'm still a little bit worried for this, like, semi-contain, right? This is going to be a very, very difficult base to leave. Now, of course, one option that Mofbe does have is to just simply land the command center right over there. I don't think that this Siege Tank has got vision of that just yet. Now, look at that. He will be able to actually mine over there if he decides to try and see his luck to head to the right-hand side here. But this is still going to be a little bit tricky. Now, Siege Tank trying to get that vision right there, using the vision right there of that barracks to really see as much as possible. Currently, there's no anti-air available here for the player in blue, but eventually the Raven, I think, will end up falling here, while one Siege Tank just barely does not end up getting killed. Actually, I think that he may be able to slowly break out of his base if he decides to play this smartly. Now, the Vikings are indeed being landed. One Viking for a siege tank. I guess that is a worthwhile trade. One Liberator right here for a single Marine, and I guess also a siege tank here as well that was already at really low HP. Is not too bad either, but I would really not mind seeing a Liberator here of Moffi himself. That would be extremely helpful, so he can use that anti-ground mode to start dealing a little bit of damage. Oh no. Oh no, no way. Moffi is actually adding on a tech lab right now on that barracks. I mean, he could be adding on this fusion core for 2 reasons. First reason would be to, I mean, get the Liberator anti-ground ranged upgrade, right? Which is great, don't get me wrong, that's incredible. However, the second reason, and the one that I am secretly hoping for, is that Moffi is going to switch over the tech lab with that starport, and then he's going to start producing Battlecruisers. I mean, cattle bruisers. No, I mean Battlecruisers. Anyway, they're capable of dealing a lot of damage. Come on, lift it up. Lift it up once more. Make a switch. You don't need that Marine. He's not researching tech or stim pack here in this one. He is indeed... No, he's gonna switch him over. He's gonna do exactly that. Oh, no. Oh, no, Moffi. Moffi has got a ton of, like, you know, command centers ready to go. He just doesn't have a lot of mining anymore, though. Now, we do indeed see that starport now has got a tech lab on it. He does also have the resources right now to start up about 3 Battlecruisers. He's not getting the fusion core upgrades just yet. He's also not getting any of the Liberator upgrades here. And while I guess he's still preoccupied trying to deal with the damage at the front, he's not quite making the switch just yet. Eventually, I mean, all of these high ground visions, right, that he gets from just simply creating these buildings or floating up these buildings, I think it should be enough to shoot away at the majority of the Terran army that's trying to contain him. And he is indeed starting up the Battlecruiser. In the meantime, on the other end of the map, because this aggression is going to be ongoing for a little while longer, and I'm going to make the assumption that eventually the player in red will indeed make his way rather to the low ground. In the meantime, on the other end of the map, while Mark has been throwing away a lot of units as well, he's been establishing a super solid economy. He doesn't really have a whole lot of unit producing structures. I would really love to see him add on a couple more of these, but I mean, you gotta keep in mind, he has got a solid economy. It's 47 hard versus for his only 22. And sure, while the player in red currently does have a nice amount of energy on these orbital commands, and he will indeed be able to get a lot of income from them as well, this is still not quite, you know, a great position for him to be in just yet. Now, the Battlecruiser, I would say about 4/5 of the way done right now. He will be able to come out very shortly, and I think once and for all shut down all of the aggression that he's been under. But I'm wondering here, would a Liberator not have just done the exact same thing? I don't really care anymore. It will be perfect, but you can see he will most definitely be forced out of his base right now. 2 more starports are going down, and Moffi's Battlecruiser is indeed operational. He's gonna show his hand almost right from the get-go, and I think he's gonna use it to start mining here from his natural, and very shortly the 3rd base as well, because he is gonna need the income. He's got no more mining here in the main base other than the gas and 50 minerals off of this single field that's remaining. He's getting now also the upgrade right there, the Yamato cannon for the Battlecruisers. Of course, they can now use tactical jump as well in any blind corner of the map, so if you wanted to, you could just simply tactical jump right over here to these idle mules and start shooting away at Mark's mineral line. I mean, there's a whole lot of nothing. I would actually not mind seeing that here whatsoever. Of course, it is a little bit of a risk. It is his primary tool of defense right now. 2 additional, or 1 additional missile turret now being created here as well. I would love to see a little bit of harass, though. I'm assuming here Moffi knows at least that his opponent is also mining from another base here. If he could do some work with that, it would be extremely powerful. But with 2 more starports done, he can start triple producing Battlecruisers here shortly. And here's the thing that I learned about Battlecruisers, right? They're kind of alright. Once you get a lot of them, they are kind of alright. Once you have 1 or 2, it's still easy to counter from your opponent. But, I mean, a Yamato cannon, not a bad choice there. That Liberator will end up taking damage and get shut down immediately. The cooldown of that is rather long, of course. I think it's about 70 seconds or so, but that is 100% worth it, because Liberators are very annoying and they can deal a lot of damage, in particular when their opponent is not paying attention to it. But so far, Moffi is indeed on top of it. Now, these missile turrets will start dealing a little bit of damage right here to the orbital command, but I think that the Battlecruiser right here in combination with the siege tank will indeed shut down those 2 annoyances as well. And I think that this base will shortly start mining here as well. And finally, I mean, we may very well reach a bit of a lull into this game. Now, Mark has been playing very cheesy, very, very aggressive, right? He's been shit-talking the majority of the early game. Does he have the macro skills to back it up? I mean, he was supply block here. He is still supply block right now. All he's producing is a single command center and missile turret and 1-1. I guess he's still preoccupied on the other end of the map. Too much so to realize that he's still not able to produce anything here. And we'll see here if Muffby is going to have similar issues because he's also not really producing a whole lot outside of these Battlecruisers. Now, of course, Battlecruisers, are they really, you know, do you need anything but Battlecruisers? They are, of course, extremely expensive. He's most definitely going to need the gas here in the natural. But the thing about Battlecruisers, one of the things that I did learn is that once you got them going, you don't really need to worry too much about your macro because every, like, I don't know, every minute or so you should go ahead and queue up another bunch, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. They can produce for quite a long time. They're really expensive as well, and they can deal a lot of damage. And I hope that thought go, because it looks like the Terran player in blue is trying to move up the ramp right here. He had a solid domination here for a while, but he is throwing units into... Oh my god, look at that. He's almost binning them right now. Very little damage gets done right there. That single Cyclone, I mean, sure, it killed a Marine or two, but other than that, it really did not achieve a whole lot. And I think that for the very first time into this game, I may very well call this one even. The thing, of course, to realize here is that while Mark still does have a solid amount of the... Oh, man. No, Mark. Come on, you're misplacing that, dude. You're better than... Come on, that's not even remotely close. It has to be at least, like, 3 squares up. It's alright. He's also mining here from another base. They're starting to mine over there regardless. Of course, the Viking play here, as well as the, you know, other units here are going to be great. I mean, no. Those Marines are not going to be able to cut it, dude. These Battlecruisers will eat Marines for breakfast. You were talking about breakfast earlier. I mean, these Battlecruisers are what your Marines are going to have. Look at that. Alright, I guess I should have said it the other way around right there, but hold up. Oh, man, look at this. This is getting really messy. Now, Mark's income will start skyrocketing here. Look at that. Player in red right here. He's getting a ton of additional income. A ton of additional income. I actually like this switch, though. I don't know exactly how well... like, Thors currently do against Battlecruisers in the most recent patch of StarCraft. Look at... Come on now, dude. The most recent patch of StarCraft 2, the Thors did indeed get an additional set of armor. I think that actually helps out quite a bit against Battlecruisers in particular. And of course, this is played on the most recent patch. Muffby now, however, has got a ton of resources. He cannot get gas fast enough. You can see these mules mine for a ton of stuff. But once again, I mean, Mark... he's trickling in units one at a time rather than engaging in one big clump. And that is, you know, definitely something to worry about. This game is by no means over just yet, though. Look at that. So many additional bases are indeed being added on right here for Mark. And while he is surely dealing quite a bit of damage here as well, there's an opposing Battlecruiser available right now as well. Apparently, Mark has decided to counter Battlecruisers with Battlecruisers as well, fighting fire with fire. But 3 Battlecruisers is most definitely more than 1, and they will be able to teleport straight to the other end of the map. I don't know exactly if this is the most beneficial position for them to be in. I would have loved to see some harassment to the mineral line instead, but he's going straight after that fusion core. So the last one that is currently in production here for Mark, and apparently, yeah, no, he ended up canceling one right there. The last one right here in production indeed will come out, but I think that he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Mules will be dropped right now as well, not for BMing, no, but to go ahead and repair up the weakened Battlecruiser. Tactical jump is extremely helpful here, but at the same time, another tactical jump was indeed executed by the blue player's Battlecruiser here as well. He moved that one towards the 3rd base location, forcing the liftoff, and while Muffby is most definitely dealing a bunch of damage here, he's not quite dealing the economic damage that I would love to see him deal. I mean, sure, he's taking out a lot of the important tech buildings, right? And sure, he's, you know, really... like, slowing down the production here of the player in blue. I wonder here if it's going to be as good as I think he thinks it is right now. Look at it. I mean, he's dealing a bunch of damage. It's all fine and dandy, but, you know, at this point, I mean, there is going to be a bit of a weird base trade kind of scenario. It looks like Muffby has decided that he's actually going to send the Battlecruisers back home using the tactical jump right there. Once again, target firing down the Thors first, which I do like a lot. Try and take those units out here ASAP. One of the Battlecruisers is starting to run very low here for the player in red, but the other one does end up falling, and the damage that the Battlecruisers deal in a short amount of time is absolutely ludicrous. And while this is all going on, the other heroes here on the other end of the map, not just the Battlecruisers that are operational, but also these Marines, as well as the pilots of the Siege Tanks, they're dealing a ton of damage. And I mean, they are closing out a lot of that natural production, as well as the ones from the... like, look at that. There's nothing anymore in the main base. And oh my god, Mark, while he was acting all cool in the earlier stages of this game, I guess he got Battlecruisers for breakfast. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you got crazy games yourself as well, go ahead and submit them to replays at LowkoTV. We'd love to receive more. These games are awesome. I'm really enjoying them. But other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.